Oh, hey there, Sovryn Tech fans, and really fans of all things geeky and nerdy, baby. I have got something so cool that in fact, I've never done one of these before. And I often wonder if when people do these kind of videos, if they don't like pre-unbox this shit, because you never know what the hell's going to be in a box. Yes, I'm doing an unboxing. Let me adjust my microphone here. Of something that I totally, in fact, this is kind of hilarious. And this is no insult necessarily to Eaglemoss or the company that I got this from, that being Entertainment Earth, who I have been a customer of Entertainment Earth forever. But like, I think it was like a year ago or something that I actually pre-ordered this. Because this is when the movie came out, that being Star Trek Beyond, which came out in July 2016. Of course, on Sovryn Tech, it was my movie of the year because I thought it was so well done, so phenomenal, had so many cool things about it. You know, one of the cool things about it was actually the USS Franklin. So, by the way, I don't have the YouTube live chat open, so if you're making comments, I can't see them. If you're watching this, I apologize. But anyway, this isn't going to be a long video at all. But so one of my favorite things about the whole movie was actually this ship right here. Now, this is not what I unboxed. I haven't done the unboxing yet. But you can see this. This is from the limited edition Amazon Blu-ray set of Star Trek Beyond, which I own. And this is a fairly nice model. There's been a few different companies like QMX and some others. In fact, I think QMX did this. Just it's a little bit lower end than what they usually do because, again, it's a bonus for a box set. But this is one of the best looking ones of the USS Franklin. I mean, there's been a few different models of it. I love this one. In fact, I like that it's magnetic on the stand and it comes off. And a lot of people may not realize this, but especially even when I'm on some like client calls and there's no video, like I'll just be sitting here in the BDSM studios. Of course, that's Brian's Dungeon of Sex and Magic. It's not what you think it is. Like I'll just be flying some of these little ships around. I have other little ships, lacing the studio, the dungeon, as some have called it, as well. But anyway, so that's the USS Franklin NX-326. Of course, a ship that little bit of a mystery. You know, when Eaglemoss did their release of their actual little model, they do their whole like where they come with a magazine and everything about the ship. We actually found out a little bit more about it, but not everything. Like we found out that it's not actually Starship class, which is what the dedication plaque says on it, which that's what I'm going to be doing the unboxing of, is the dedication plaque for the USS Franklin here. It's not actually Starship class. It's what's called Franklin type. I mean, it is Starship class, but it was probably given that title after, after the United Federation of Planets was more formed and it ended up going into service in the Earth-Romulan War. Of course, this would be in the 22nd century. As far as when the Franklin was originally built, it's a guess between 2145 and 2151. Guess because it's a Warp 4 starship. And the Enterprise NX-01 from the show Star Trek Enterprise, it was the Warp 5 starship, and that was, we know, launched in 2151. So you would assume that a somewhat less, and the Franklin really is, the somewhat less advanced starship was actually built in, before the NX-01, and probably at a substantial point too. I would argue it's a good, and it has to be 2145 because it would have to be after the Warp 3 tests, right, by the NX betas. So my guess would be closer to 2145 than 2151, just because it would make sense. Now, I love the design, like the interior design language, the UX, as it were, of the USS Franklin, I think is gorgeous because like it's all green and black. It almost makes you feel like you're flying an Apple II or a Commodore. and I think that's a really slick design. I think the whole design overall is really slick. And a lot of people talked about how the ship looks very much like, just like the NX class, just like, the Enterprise or the Columbia, the NX-02, which you know about in, from the show Star Trek Enterprise. A lot of people say that it looks quite a bit like that. But originally, the nacelles were actually supposed to be pointing down. It almost looked more, I'm guessing, more like what's called the Steamrunner class, which some might remember that from Star Trek First Contact when you had that big Borg battle over Earth at the beginning of the movie, where you just saw a ton of different starships, right? I mean, there were so many involved in that. But anyway, so yeah, it's really not meant to look, it was never meant to look that much like the Enterprise. as it, or the NX-01, but it just kind of ended up doing that. And honestly, that's okay. I'll admit though that um, I originally thought that when I saw it in the trailer, when you see the Franklin, at the time you didn't know it was the Franklin. Okay, I thought maybe like, oh man, do they find the original Enterprise? Do they find the NX-01 because it looks so close to it, and you saw so little of it, or not the best. The pictures you saw, left room, and kind of what you saw in the trailer left room for that possibility. We'll just put it that way. So anyway, let's let's see. Oh, well, we actually have some people watching in the right now. So I did just open up the YouTube live chat. So if you do want to chat, you're welcome to. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to respond so well, because again, and I think actually too, like most people don't do these unboxing videos. They don't do them live. They pre-record them, all of which is fine. I mean, everybody has different styles. I was debating on doing this not live. But I figured, what the hell? We're just doing we're just showing off a little dedication plaque. And anyway, just having fun with it and adding a little something to the YouTube channel. So, all right, I'm going to grab the box now. Woo. And here it is. Here's from Entertainment Earth. We got it. Put that in the lap. Let's get a knife. He's got a knife. Look at it. You see this? I'll tell you, I am a cheapskate here. Okay. A little box cutter. I haven't bought a new one of these, and these only cost like $10, or at least that's what they used to cost. I haven't probably bought a new one of these in almost 20 years, because it's a Craftsman and it's a tool. So every time one of them has broken, and usually it breaks right around here where you add in the new razor. Every time I get every time one of them breaks, I just take it to Sears and they just give me a brand new one. And I'm such a cheap Jew that, okay. Anyway, enough about my ethnicity. So, all right, let's open this baby up. Let's do this. So pardon the sounds if you hear the bubble wrap or something else, but we're going to make this happen right now live. Woo! All right. Yeah, I think, well, I don't know if there's little point to releasing this on audio, so I don't know that I need to just keep talking or something. But okay, opening it up, we got a packing slip here. Shouldn't have put the knife away yet. Got a little magazine advertisement from Entertainment Earth. We're getting through the wrapping, pulling it out. Oh my. Oh, look at that. They did not just like put this thing in bubble wrap. So we're going to have to do a kind of a double unboxing here, because it comes, as you can see, in a beautiful little collector's box. Hell, I'm almost afraid to open it. So, and it shows the Franklin on there, NX-326. And on the back, this is an officially, you can see what, I'll read what's on there, but you can see the back of it there. This is an officially licensed scale replica of, so it's 1-to-1 scale, right? Yes, it's 1-to-1 scale. Dedication plaque that was on the bridge of the USS Franklin when it appeared in the movie. The plaque reveals that the 22nd century ship was built at the San Francisco Fleet Yards and displays the famous motto, "To boldly go where no man has gone before." Now, I'll tell you, there was a lot of controversy around using that phrase, again, where no man has gone before. Now, in the original series of Star Trek from the 60s, that's what Kirk said. Like, that's what it had always been. I think he might have changed it. I remember at the end of Star Trek 6, I got to see how we're going to open this here. They do not make it easy. Oh, no, they kind of do make it easy. I don't need the blade. At the end of Star Trek 6, where he changed it to No One. And of course, Star Trek The Next Generation, starting in 87, made it very clear that it was going to say where no one has gone before. Big argument around this. There's always this argument around like using the term man to reference mankind, like it's a shorthand for mankind, meaning humans. That's obviously what Kirk meant, not to say that the original series didn't have some, shall we say, feminist issues, feminist problems, I should say, particularly the very last episode. Was that Turnabout Intruder? Or the very last episode of the original series, where there's the famous rule, apparently, that Starfleet has, which, this can be so... Well, obviously, I mean, I mentioned earlier the NX-02 from the 22nd century, which the original series takes place in the 23rd century. You already had the captain of the NX-02 was a Hispanic woman. So, like, that rule that was in the original series that women can't be captains had already been, retroactively, I think just pretty much ignored. And I'm glad that it was, even though it is in many ways kind of the major crux of that last episode of the original series. The show Star Trek Continues, which I've reviewed and I've put in the Sovryn Tech newsletter, which you can sign up for at zog.email, and you can also read all the past issues there. In Star Trek Continues, which is trying to be like and it is very well done. It's picture perfect in my opinion. Season 4 of the original series, they address that whole problem of, wait a minute, women can be captains, blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, they really try to do that. And they bring up like my favorite episode, actually. I think this is the 3rd episode of Star Trek Continues. Was it Lolani? Was that the name of it? Was a, totally feminist, episode. They had to deal with the Orions. But anyway, yeah, how the hell did I even get on that subject? I don't know. But, oh, yeah, it's because of saying where no man has gone before. Well, it's part of Star Trek lore. They used it. I think in my opinion, it is plainly obvious what they mean when they say man, especially today, especially in Star Trek Beyond, which itself also had, incredibly strong female characters. So anyway, let's pop this here. We've got some styrofoam. I hate the sound of styrofoam, but whatever, I'll deal with it. Okay, you can see on the camera, you might be hearing some terrible sounds, and we'll set the box down. Put it right into the Entertainment Earth box here. Woo! And then, oh, now they do have it taped up. Now I do have to break the blade back out. Do not try this at home. Wait, I'm at home. All right, we'll open it up, and there you can kind of see from behind the microphone. You can see the plaque in the styrofoam, breaking it out. Put the styrofoam down. Oh man, they wrap this baby. Okay, let's undo the wrapping, and I might as well, because I mean this is going to get hung up in the studio. Like, it's funny. I mean they used to make these. They had really so here it is. Let me show it to you. Here we go. There it is. Beautiful. This is not some like cheap plastic. I'm not exactly sure what this is made out of, but this is pretty sturdy stuff. Now, I had one of these when I was a kid, Star Trek Communicator, which was the Star Trek magazine kind of fanzine at the time. This would have been in the early 90s. I had one for the Enterprise D, but it was plastic. I mean, it was like the cheapest fucking thing you could possibly have. I still, worshiped it and hallowed it in my room, but it was really, really cheap. Now they're making these dedication plaques. I think Eaglemoss particularly is making them. They're making them for every starship under the sun. I mean, like, look at this. This is one from a movie that came out a year ago. This finally came out. Yeah, I mean, I think Franklin has been a popular ship, overall. So I can kind of understand why they do it, but I really think they dropped the ball. Like they should have been striking while the iron was hot. All of this stuff should have came out when Star Trek, or at least a month or so after Star Trek Beyond came out, or at least have come out when it was coming out on video, which would have been the holiday season of 2016. And they really did neither. Very strange, but whatever, I mean, this is so well done. I don't blame them for, if it took a while for their production process and to make a bunch of these. I did check on Entertainment Earth's site as soon as I got the email, which is about like last week that I finally got the email that it was shipping. Again, I pre-ordered it some months ago. They, as soon as I went to the site, it was already out of stock. So you might not be able to even buy one of these again. And I know Entertainment Earth likes to say, oh, well, it's on back order or something. Well, there's some like little Eaglemoss starships that I've had on back order for literal years. And they said, oh yeah, no, we'll email you when it's available. I don't think it's ever going to be available. But anyway, but this is beautiful. It says, right on there, San Francisco Fleet Yards, Earth, United Federation of Planets. I got a little scuffing on it, but no big deal. USS Franklin, Starship Class, Starfleet Registry NX-326, to boldly go where no man has gone before. It is this is a beautiful, beautiful piece, I have to say. Definitely the best plaque. I mean, this is one of the first new plaques that I've ever owned. Blows away what used to get sold back in the 90s. I mean, just blows it fucking out of the water. So yeah, there we go. We unboxed it, getting a good look at it, and I'll put I'll put my little model of the Franklin right next to it. How about that? Oh, there we go. Get them in the camera together. Beautiful. Beautiful. My camera I got to get a new studio camera. I have one at wishlist.zog.ninja, but not showing off the fine detail because there is pretty good detail for this model of the Franklin. But the plaque looks great. So anyway, I think this is really cool. I'm still, as far as, okay, what's the future of all this? Of like after Star Trek Beyond, which wasn't like a huge hit. I think it was hit enough, but the critics loved it. It's just people didn't go to see it for, I don't know, branding reasons, whatever was going on at the time. But I do think that so Star Trek 4, which I guess is what we'll call it for right now, of the Kelvin timeline. I do think that there's going to be a Star Trek 4. I really think they're just waiting for all the hubbub to settle around Star Trek Discovery, which is coming up in about a month. It's coming up fast, and everything's looking pretty good for that. In fact, talk about some great collectibles. I've already seen I think they got McFarlane Toys to do a lot of them, which that's going to be great. Star Trek has often, especially in the past 20 years, has actually had really great toy lines, like through Art Asylum, where they're hyper realistic. In fact, far superior really to anything Star Wars has put out. Star Wars is, a toy marketing machine, but Star Trek's like the level of quality and realism that they deliver. I feel, at least in the last 20 years, really ever since Art Asylum took over, Playmates did great work too, no doubt about it. But it's just been top notch. It's been unmatched in many ways, really. So anyway, here it is. Star Trek 4 will be coming along. Do I expect to see the Franklin in it? No, not really, unless they're at Yorktown and Yorktown turned it into some kind of monument. I could believe that, on the Yorktown station, which I thought was one of the, next to the USS Franklin, the best thing in Star Trek Beyond was definitely the Yorktown station. That thing was beautiful. But anyway, there we go. One last look. The USS Franklin dedication plaque from Eaglemoss. Beautiful. This will be hanging. Hell, I don't know. I might put it like right there. I might have it hanging pretty prominently, but because it does have little hooks on the back, which is nice. So anyway, that's it. Woo! New Sovryn Tech, of course, will be out this week for fans of the show, and for everyone else. Boy, if you've never listened to Sovryn Tech, you are in for a treat. And trust me on that. You are in for a wild ride. So do check that out, sovryntech.com, or you can go to my website, zog.email. Anyway, I'll see you on the other side.